Hey, what's happening, folks? This is the DFS 5-pack. We're here with our buddy DFS Patriot. I guess real name's Derek. As you can see, he is one of those weirdo Patriot fans. Didn't just think it was a clever name out there, but if you can't tell by the accent, it makes a lot of sense because I think you're from the area.
I might be, that's for sure. Born and
Just
raised, never leaving.
Just a little bit. So, I mean, are you a Patriots fan now, or are you a Brady fan? Are you a little bit of both? Because, I mean, he moved over to the NFC, so you can do a little bit of both. When Favre moved to the Jets, I mean, I'm still a Packers fan, but I could root on the Jets a little bit.
Yeah, so as you can tell by my background, I'm crying inside every week that I watch the Patriots now. It's so sad. It's so depressing. And then you see Brady go off for 4 TDs and go absolutely apeshit. So yes, you're at the yes, I am a both fan. It's funny. One of my really good buddies is a Bucks fan. So when they signed him, I have not heard every Sunday. He's like, hey, how's Brady's stats? Hey, what's our record? I'm like, dude, shut up. I'm done with you.
Reminds me a little bit of when LeBron left Cleveland.
Oh, you have buddies in Miami?
I mean, I definitely know some people from Miami, and they were not shy to rub it in. I'll say that.
No, that's for sure. This guy, yeah. Oof.
All right, guys. If you've caught us doing this before, essentially we're just doing a small dollar 3-person draft. Just another opportunity to come on here and talk through some of the plays with you guys. I've done this before, so let's do it again. Derek, who is like your must play in cash games this weekend?
Oof. Keenan Allen. He is way too cheap. He is getting way too many targets, and quite frankly, too, everyone's going to be like, "Well, Herbert didn't hit him last week. You know, he didn't get a touchdown." Okay, like what does that matter? Like this dude, he's in love with him. It's the same thing with Nick Foles and Allen Robinson.
Literally, no one is going to be like that, though. That's the only thing I'll say. No one is going to.
Come on, give me something.
I said on our public video with Keenan Allen, he's due for touchdown progression as opposed to regression. So Keenan Allen's a money pick. He's going to be super, super chalky. He's featured on like every single DFS video this weekend by everybody out there. And you want to know why? For what you said and what we said this week, he is way too cheap, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, let's kind of move over to the draft. Before we get into it, though, I do want to take a second to shout out our show sponsor, Overlay DFS. Another solid night in the matchup shop last night. The featured pick for last night was Hayden Hurst over Russell Gage, which I had talked about earlier in the week. Hurst started out getting 2.5 points, which is way too little. The only which is way too much. I thought Hurst was the better play straight up, much less with 2.5 points. Came in easy. You got to get on this stuff early, though, because I got 2.5 points. By the time the game started, you were losing 3 points.
Cool. I'm going to let you take that victory lap. I will take my victory lap on these drafts as I've won the past 2 we've done and 3 out of 4. So I wish we were playing for big and money on here. Yeah,
I think you've won, like you said, 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Patriot, I'm not going to say this for sure. I think you've gotten last every time.
Hey, consistency is key.
I actually know he has. And
I know it too. Close. Yeah, there's been some tough ones. But you know what? I brought the GOAT with me today. We got Bill over here and Tom over here, so we're going to take it down this week.
All right, well, where are you going? You're the first pick.
Oh, right. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm just going to go right off the bat. I'm going to go Keenan Allen.
Makes a lot of sense.
Listen, ESPN has him ranked as like their number 2 wide receiver this week in PPR formats. And whether or not you want to live or die with ESPN rankings, I sure don't. But it means something, and he's priced in like the mid-tier range, so he makes too much sense.
Right. Yeah, and that's exactly it. He just makes too much sense to pass up, even in a draft like this. It just makes no sense to let me go.
Let's get off this subject for 1 second. When it comes back to ESPN rankings, do you guys have I know my ex-wife or my girlfriend played very little fantasy football, and when they see the ESPN rankings, they're like, well, I'm projected to win. I'm like, I don't know how many times I have to tell you this, but that doesn't mean anything. Nothing at all. Please don't think because you're projected to win 89 to 87 it's going to work out this week. It means very, very little.
Agreed. But listen, when they have someone ranked as the overall, between 4 or 5 guys, the number 2 overall receiver for the week, and he's priced as the number 10 to 15 guy, that stands out to me.
That I can get on board. It's more like when you're talking to a fantasy football novice and they're looking at these ESPN projections before the games even start. And I'm like, please do not think this means anything.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I got the next pick. I'll start out with one of my big money guys. Just give me Derrick Henry.
Sweet. That makes a lot of sense. I figured you might go there. I was hoping you would go there only because I didn't want you to take the guy that I was going to take here, and that's George Kittle. So I love Kittle here. I'm going to snag him. And then I'm also, listen, he's not the value, and I wasn't all over him last week, but he was solid, and I think he has another really good game. Give me Gio Bernard.
Yeah, didn't they just rule out Mixon like an hour ago?
For this video.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this puts me up into the driver's seat. Moving on down this list. You already grabbed Keenan Allen. All right. I knew I should have looked this over before getting on here with you guys. Same problem as the other week.
Hey, it happens.
All right. Oh, boy. Okay. I swear I won't take this long on all of them. But
I don't know if I've ever seen you struggle with a pick like this.
Especially this early.
Yeah.
I've been really busy with other stuff all morning. So like we said, let's draft. And then I started looking it over for about 30 seconds. And then you're like, I'm ready. I'm like, all right, let's just do this. Fine, whatever.
Yeah. It seems fun, but yeah, when you haven't looked, it's difficult.
Okay. I'm going to take Trey Burton because I just have a feeling I need the cap space. I'm just going to get that out of the way so it's not to take any longer than I already have.
Makes sense.
That's all right. So I'm up backs, correct?
Yeah.
So I actually was literally just reading that Aaron Jones did not practice again today.
True.
So I am going to go with Jamal Williams. I think that weather in that game, I think he's fairly priced. I mean, Minnesota can't stop anyone, quite frankly. And then let's see. I'm going to go. I don't need a tight end yet because you guys you did that for me. I am going to go back to the guy who did me well last week. Oh, boy, he's way too much. Just kidding. I'm going to go T. Higgins.
Awesome.
56. I think the game's going to be a shootout, my personal opinion.
I agree. And I'm going to go with another wide receiver from the Cincinnati. Pick. Oh, it isn't?
My pick now. Or no, it's not. Excuse me. It's your pick. My fault.
I know.
That's my fault. Yeah, I got confused. My fault.
All right, I'm going to grab AJ Green. I'm going to hit up this cap space early. I've put myself in a bad position a couple of times. We've done this by taking all the heavy guys early. I agree with you. I expect this is probably my favorite game to target from the DFS perspective. And while I was selling AJ Green a few weeks ago, he has 24 targets over the past 2 weeks. The Cincy defense is terrible. Tennessee's going to be able to score at will against them. So give me AJ Green to continue to be a target monster as Burrow, throws on average 45,000 times a game.
For sure. He's looked pretty good recently, so I cannot fault you for that pick whatsoever. All right. I am going to go with a guy I'm surprised that no one's taken yet. Give me Kareem Hunt.
Damn it.
And, he's just solid. I'm actually surprised that he's made it this far.
Great price.
Yeah, he's a little bit expensive. I'm not too worried about it, though. I got some value guys for later I can get on board with. And, oh, man. This is a little bit difficult. I will go with this is difficult. Give me Burrow.
He's going Burrow. All right.
That's just like slapping both of us right in the face. Korean Higgins slapped Burrow.
All right. So I'm going to go with somebody that we've talked about a lot this week, Matt. And this is going to be a little bit more out there. So I guess we're putting out this pick for the public just a little bit. Bell.
Oh, man. I love that pick.
That's a great pick.
I completely forgot about that pick. I love it. I love it.
We've talked this one out a lot this week. And while I think most of the people that watch the show on a consistent basis know that I'm not a big, quote unquote, narrative guy, I love this one. I think that this is a situation in a game where Kansas City doesn't have to worry about winning. Like, I would bet every dollar, my dogs, my kids in the world, that Kansas City wins this game. Would you say they were, Matt, like favored by 400 points in Vegas odds?
They're like minus like 20.
Okay, like this is a for sure thing. I feel very confident Andy Reid gets Le'Veon Bell in the end zone this weekend. I like the feel good about it at 4,600, and this is a great opportunity to get him acclimated with his new team in a game where there's not a lot of stress associated with it.
I love it. Great pick.
Yep, completely get it. All right, I'm up for two. Let's see what I want to do here. Let me see what this gets me. Oof. All right, I am going to go with Metcalf at 75. Again, Russ is going to throw. The defense isn't as good as I think it is, and he got, everyone's going to be googly eyeing Lockett, but I really think he's going to go right back to the DK well this week.
Sure. I said that earlier this week. Again, last week was all Lockett made all the sense because of the inability of Arizona to cover receivers. Now, I didn't think it was going to be that kind of discrepancy, but I'm usually team DK, like almost every week. And he still had the play of the game, making the meme of the week.
Oh, insane. Absolutely nuts. And then I'm up again, right? And then I'm going to go running back here. And I am going to go with Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. All right, just to be quick, no Russ, no fuss. This is just a few bucks we're playing for. Give me Russell Wilson because he just does it every week.
Makes a lot of sense there. All right, I'm going to go with a little bit of value here. Guy we haven't talked about too much, but I think he's in a good spot here. Give me Denzel Mims.
My buddy Pete brought him up last night to me.
Who did?
Pete, a guy in one of our groups.
Oh,
He's
okay.
been around for a long time. He likes him a lot better if Crowder's out, and Crowder not at practice again today.
Yeah, so I like Mims here. He's good. First-round pick from Baylor. He's good. Big play potential in a game that they're probably going to be throwing a lot.
Yep.
All right. Then after that, I am going to go with A.J. Brown.
He's pretty good. Pretty good, to say the least.
I like this game a lot. I now have Burrow, Bernard, and Brown. Obviously, I'd love Henry, but you took him before I even picked. So I feel like I have three of the next better pieces in this game.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that puts me up. All right. The short passing game is going to be in effect, and I don't really love him overall as a building block on DK, but I got to solidify my flex position, so I'll just take Alvin Kamara. I'm sure it won't be the most explosive of games. I'm not expecting him to go off for like 40-some, but I got plenty of value pieces I can get in here, so I'll take Kamara at 8,200.
Makes sense.
All right. So what do I have? I have quarterback, tight end, flat. Okay. I'm trying to think who has what. So you both have quarterbacks, so I can really wait on that one.
Yes, sir.
So I am going to go with, let's see what this will get me. All right. I am going to go with, where the hell are they? I'm going to go with the Browns defense. Again, the weather, Matt, you'll probably know better than me, but the weather looks like it's going to be awful there. We know that, what's his face, the left tackle's out still. Was it Trent Brown? Is that who that is over there?
Yep.
He's still out. Bad weather. I think that, Waller, and he's a good play, and Jacobs is a good play, but I just think that the Browns defense, at 2,600 too, it's a solid value piece.
I'm with you. That was you just helped me decide where I was going to go with my final roster build too, because Browns were a defense I was going to consider, and now I can't. So Ryan, you're up.
All right. Well, one more value piece. Give me Kendrick Bourne. Seattle can't defend any wide receivers to save their lives, so I'll take a paydown spot right here as they are decimated at the wide receiver position.
All righty. Well, I'm going to spend all the way down at defense. I don't even need to do that here. I'm punting. But before I do that, I'm going to take my final two position players. Give me Devontae Adams and Harrison Bryant.
Okay. All right. Well, I will take the Rams defense then, and hopefully I can get somebody in this range I don't hate.
All right. Let's see. So I'm gonna roll with I'm gonna go with shit. Throw into that. Yeah, I'm gonna go Ryan Tannehill at quarterback,
Good pick.
and then let's see what tight end can get me. Someone already took Brian, right?
Yep.
Damn it. All right, so then. All right, so then at tight end, I'm gonna pair him up with Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu. Good pick. All right, I'm up next. I will take Ayuk from the San Francisco 49ers. Seattle is all-time bad against wide receivers, so I guess I'll just take both of them. Since that's the money I have left and he happens to fit.
Well, I'm sure you'll like that one better than my next pick, who I could not see you using even if you made 5,000 lineups. That is the Jets defense. I have exactly 2,000 left, and that's what fits, and I love my roster around it, so I'll punt there. No problems with it at all.
Awesome.
Shall we read off our rosters?
What's that?
Shall we read off our rosters? I know that yours is here.
I got a spot left.
Oh, okay.
I got my flex left.
How is it even possible? Do you have a spot left, Ryan?
Nope.
All right. Well.
All right. So I have 4,500 left. And I am gonna go with LaMichael Perrine.
It fits with my Jets D.
Yeah, I just think they're gonna want to see what they have with him.
It's P Ryan. Yeah.
Perrine, P Ryan. Yeah, I don't really pay attention to the Jets.
Hold on, I wasn't paying attention. You guys talking about peeing on Ryan? I don't think that's a good idea.
No.
Listen, that would be a hell of a shot from all the way from Boston all the way up to you.
Right.
I mean, a good night of drinking. I know how you Boston guys might like to be, roll. It might be able to work. So, I would suggest, and what we'll do this week, guys, you can all see my roster on here. At some point when the YouTube video drops in a little bit, if you guys could both go in the comment section and just list your roster so the public can see it. I know that was asked for a couple times. I'll let anybody who's watching this, feel free to comment who you think is going to win. Make it a little bit more active. Click the thumbs up button, have a little bit of fun with it. And I know we did this before. Let's just kind of run through this real quickly just to have a little extra fun. We'll go through each game and say who we think is going to win.
All right, cool.
Works for me.
Works for me. I just I'm going to read my team off real quick because I just love it so much. Burrow at QB, Bernard and Hunt, Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown, Mims, Kittle and Harrison Bryant, and the punt of the Jets D.
All right. Atlanta, Carolina. Who do you think? Oh, never mind. Just kidding. All right. New England against Buffalo.
Patriot, you start.
I really want to say the Patriots come out and play and win, but I don't. Buffalo's going to win.
Buffalo will win.
Yeah, at Buffalo. Cam does not look like the same guy post-COVID. I'm not sure if it's affecting him, if he just came back down to earth, if now that the NFL has got film on him in Belichick's system, it's not working. It's a little bit of all this, but they're struggling offensively, so I'm with Buffalo as well.
Yeah, and the other thing is like Julian's out. I called it last week when Matt and I were making the GPP video. I was like, he's gonna get called out, and it was the next week. But Julian's out. Cam's throwing the ball like he's got some sort of shoulder injury too. Like if you watch it, the way he released it the first 2 weeks, and then how he's throwing it the last 3 weeks, there's definitely something going on injury wise.
To be fair, you did call Edelman being out, but you also called Gunnar Olszewski being the guy.
Watch out this week, baby.
I'm not even sure he's on the Patriots anymore.
Wait till this week. I'll shoot you a text as soon as it happens.
Trust me, when it happens, I'll be hollering at you. When it happens.
That's right.
All right. Next up, we got the Titans at the Bengals. I know one of you is calling for an upset in this one, but I'm going to roll with the Titans in this game.
Patriot?
I'm gonna go with Joey B this week.
I like the Bengals getting the points. They're 6-point dogs here. I think they have a good chance to win this game. Hard not to think Tennessee wins because they're the better team, but I'll say I think Cincinnati's very live here.
Who are you picking to win, though?
Cincy.
Okay. All right. Next up, Vegas at Cleveland. I'm going to go with the Browns. Browns, baby.
Yep, I'm Brownies.
I've turned back. I'm on the Browns again. Bad weather doesn't help the Raiders here. You mentioned their O-line problems. Give me the Browns.
All right. Colts at Lions. This is a tough one. This is a close game. Go with the home team, Lions.
Patriot.
So here's the thing. I think Indy is a bunch of frauds, but I also know that Patricia is awful as a coach. So it just really throws you in the shit right there.
So are you calling this is not a Super Bowl preview?
It might be 20 years from now, not this year. Go with the Colts, though.
I'm going to go with the Lions. Two teams. I'm not sure what happens here, but I think Detroit.
All right. Vikings, Packers, Lambeau Field. Give me Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay for me.
Give me Green Bay, even though I think this game's closer than some people expect.
All right. I don't think it's going to – I think it will be relatively close because it's supposed to be super cold and windy and wet. So, like, it's just not a game where you think anybody's going to put up 30 or 40 points. So, I don't think it's going to be lopsided like week one.
Agreed, for sure.
Chiefs, and if you pick the Jets, you're never allowed on the show ever again.
It's definitely
– took my pick.
It's definitely the Chiefs, but, like, I wouldn't be as shocked as it sounds like you would be if the Jets won. Only because, like, they're professional athletes. That's the only reason. I mean,
are they, Matt? Are these really truly professional athletes? Are you sure?
Are they getting paid?
Maybe. I don't trust anything the Jets tell us.
If they're getting paid, yeah. So I mean, listen, you're right. It would be the biggest upset we've seen in a while, but not the biggest upset of all time. I'll say that.
Patriot, I don't know if you said anything, but I'm assuming you're picking the Chiefs because it's the Jets.
Oh, I said Chiefs, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I would pick the Jets against the local high school football team at this point.
Fair enough.
All right. Miami Dolphins against the Rams. I got the Rams right here. Tua's first start. This is a rough spot for your first start when you got Aaron Donald coming at you up the middle like this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'll just go with the Rams. I don't know. A part of me wants to take Miami, but I got to see it first.
If Fitz was quarterback, I think this would be a good game. But I don't trust Tua first start against this team.
I still cannot believe they did that to Fitz.
To be fair, though, you don't trust Tua, but you've never seen Tua play.
Well, nobody's ever seen him play in the NFL.
Yeah, but you've never seen him play anywhere.
Sure, but college and the NFL are not the same either way.
Even
if I was watched them in college.
But when you don't say you don't trust him, like you've literally never seen him play. Like, is he a righty or a lefty?
He's a lefty.
Yeah, okay. So you know that, but I bet you haven't seen him take any snaps.
No, I said that earlier this week on the show, but I don't trust any rookie playing against the top end or a very good defense like this.
So you know who does trust him? Miami and their coaching staff. So I think Miami's definitely live here. I'm going to pick Miami in this spot.
All right. AFC North division rivalry. The two teams that have dominated the AFC over the last 15, 20 years, or however long it's been, meet up this week in Baltimore and Pittsburgh. We got your Browns on the rise, but these guys have been the top dogs for a while, always make for one of the better games of the year, especially if you like defense. I'm interested in this one. You guys view this as like the game of the week in the NFL right now?
I do, but I don't think it ends up turning out to be. So coming into the week, yes, but I don't think it ends up being that. I think Baltimore rolls here. It's my favorite game of the week.
Yeah, I'm on the Baltimore side. I just, especially with what's his face, the linebacker for the Steelers who just got hurt too. Can't think of his name off the top of my head, but yeah, and I just think
he's off a bye too.
Right, and I think Lamar's going to want to prove a point because last time when they played KC, he was so bad. So it's like that next big game for them.
Yep.
All right. Well, I disagree on one aspect, and that is I think it will be a close game. I don't have strong – this is kind of like last night's game. I expect it to be competitive, but I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other who wins. So I'll just pick Pittsburgh to be different, kind of like run one of those Sunday morning shows where we tally up our record over the years, and I just need to try to gain a point. So I'll try to do that right here.
That makes sense.
But ultimately, I have no strong feelings about either one of these teams. I think they're very even.
Yeah, I mean, I think Baltimore wins here. I think Pittsburgh's ultimately the better team. Just a much better spot for Baltimore. Pittsburgh back-to-back road games, Baltimore coming off a bye. Just a much better situational spot for the Ravens here in my eyes.
All right. Chargers at the Broncos. I will go with the Chargers personally.
I'm also going to go with the Chargers because I think, if you want to play the narratives, like what was the reason that Melvin Gordon signed in the AFC West? And it was to play.
Because Denver was willing to overpay him?
Well, that too. But you think that it's the same thing with, what's his face, Le'Veon. Like the 3 teams he was looking at talking to, right? They were all the next 3 opponents. I think he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder.
So I thought you just said you went with the Chargers, though.
Did I say? I'm sorry. I meant the Broncos. What a dumbass.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Broncos at home, too. I think Herbert struggles on the road in a tough spot, in a tough environment in Denver.
All right. Saints at Bears. Without knowing the status of Michael Thomas, this game is supposed to get a little bit ugly. I don't really love either of these teams.
Same.
I'm going to go with New Orleans reluctantly.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I mean, it's not a convincing New Orleans. Like, you're not like, oh, they're high-powered offense, but bad weather. Robinson's questionable. Yeah, give me New Orleans.
I didn't even realize Robinson was questionable.
Yeah, he got a concussion on Monday, I think.
Yeah, saw that, but I didn't know it was a concussion. I'll go with you guys. I'll go New Orleans. I have no strong feelings. I'm with you, Ryan.
Yeah, I do not have strong feelings. This is another one where this is a cold weather, windy, nasty game. This is not with Drew Brees' 5th grade girl type of arm.
Yeah.
This is not a great spot for him. If they can run the ball effectively, which you can do a little bit against Chicago, with Murray and Kamara, I can't picture Chicago putting up a lot of points, especially if Robinson's out. So, Saints win 1-0.
Sounds about right.
San Francisco against Seattle. Seahawks coming off a loss. Let Russ cook. I got Seahawks at this one.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go Seattle also.
Can I cut us off for 1 second? Ryan, you might appreciate this. The Vikings just ruled out 3 of their 4 top corners for Sunday.
I mean, are their backup corners better than their original corners who are terrible? I mean,
but 3 out of 4. I mean, you're getting like the 7th and 8th rounders. You're getting the guys they signed yesterday morning.
Perfect. Valdez-Scantling eats. No, just kidding. I think Adams is probably a good play. All right. Dallas at Philly. Well, I would pick whoever Dallas was against unless it was the Jets. So give me Philly.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Philly. Ben DiNucci he needs to go back to making spaghetti and meatballs because it's not gonna work out well for him this week.
Yeah, give me the Eagles, but Jets at Cowboys. Ryan, who would you pick?
Do I got Dalton or the spaghetti and meatballs guy?
You got spaghetti and meatballs.
Which one?
DiNucci.
So it's Adam Gase against Mike McCarthy. I don't see any way this game ends except in a tie because neither one of these guys knows how to win. The 2 worst coaches in football. Holy cow. I'm going to go with the Jets only because I hate the Cowboys more.
I would love it if they played each other this year.
So would I.
Yeah, that would be the game of the week right there. That'd be a Thursday night special.
The Jets would actually be DFS viable.
That's disgusting.
I posted this on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, and I think most people, at least especially like my actual like real life friends or like Facebook friends at least, have heard me complaining about Mike McCarthy on like social media for like 6 years about what a terrible coach he is and how we need to move on. Yeah, but he's got a Super Bowl. I'm like, he's not a good coach. And this went on for so long. And I feel really good right now knowing that the second he was out of there, the Packers instantly became a significantly better team. And now he rolls down to Dallas, and he looks worse than Jason Garrett ever did. So I feel very vindicated by how terrible he is.
It's pretty sad how bad he looks.
It's not good.
I mean, to lose your team 3 weeks in, like to the point that they don't even want to play for you, and then you like piggyback the Dak injury on top of that, and the fact that he hired a guy, a defensive coordinator that nobody wanted for 6 years, like, I mean, it's just, he's an idiot.
They can't keep hot sauce out of his eye.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. All right. Mike McCarthy sucks. We know it. Now everybody knows it. All right. Last up, Tampa at New York. Oh, geez, this is a tough one. Tom Brady revenge game. Give me the Buccaneers right here.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me. No, Bucks.
It's got to be the Bucks here.
What are the Bucks favored by in this game?
The Bucks are favored
8?
by 12. Although it looks like there's the lines like not out many places, but it looks like the line right now is 12.
Okay.
Holy shit.
I was going to say 10, so, I mean, I can definitely jump forward to 12.
Tampa's one of the best teams in the NFL, and New York is not.
I mean, New York is
very well-rounded. Tampa's one of the most well-rounded teams in the league.
Sure. Absolutely. They're a very good football team.
No Godwin.
They don't need them.
Yeah, but look, I mean, you know, Antonio Brown, I know it's like, oh, it's Antonio Brown, but Brady that 1 week against the Miami with him was unreal last year.
Yeah, I still think he's going to be the third guy behind Godwin and Evans. Evans isn't even getting that many targets recently.
Well, he's so banged up. That ankle injury is really affecting him. I think he'll do all right this week with no Godwin, but it's a lingering injury. But, I mean, that's the nice part about the Buccaneers, right? Like, they have weapons everywhere. Gronk is not the Gronk of old, but he looks better. Like, there's still that, you know, cerebral connection between the two of them. Godwin's a stud when he's in there.
Fournette looks good.
This team's got everything, right? Like, they are just loaded. Like, Brate could be a starting tight end on half the teams in the NFL, and he's a guy who's back up and barely gets any run.
Shit, he'd be our number 1 wide receiver at this point if he played for the Pats.
Yeah, that wouldn't take much.
Yeah, no shit. I could be the number 1.
Buccaneers should absolutely roll in this situation. So that leads me to another interesting question for both of you guys. Gun to head right now on the 30th, one day before Halloween. Who's going to the Super Bowl from each side this year?
Me too.
So I think, again, this is just me playing narrative road. I think it's going to be Tampa, and I think it's going to be Kansas City. And I think it's going to be like a passing of the torch type situation where Brady ends up losing to Kansas City and Mahomes, and that's like the torch pass.
Okay, I get that. I'm also going to go Tampa, but I'm going to go Tampa versus Pittsburgh. I just don't think Kansas City has it this year. Mahomes is obviously, in my opinion, the best I've ever seen a quarterback. But, like, they don't look as interested, and I think that's going to catch up to them. It's really hard to go back-to-back, even if you are the best team. They've had some injuries. Pittsburgh looks hungry. They've got a guy that's won before. They've got good coaching. They've been able to beat Kansas City in the past also. Like, it's always been they've been able to beat Kansas City, and
Kansas City can beat New England, and New England always beats Pittsburgh.
Exactly. Yep. Thank you. So, like, I mean, I don't think that matters too much here, but it doesn't hurt. I just think they're on a mission. So, again, while I think they lose this week, I think that's one of only, like, 2 losses they have all year. And I think they're the number 1 seed in the AFC, and they go to the Super Bowl.
Well, we're really, really close, guys, because I'm also looking at Tampa as probably my front runner at this point. When you get into the playoffs, a team like Seattle, who can't stop a ham sandwich, it's really, I mean, that's what Aaron Rodgers had to deal with for like 8 years, right?
I was going to say, I would like Green Bay more if they need a second wide opinion next to Adams. Like, I think Green Bay's got a shot as it is, but all that Scantling sucks. And like, Aaron Jones is good. They got to give Rodgers another weapon. If they do, they're right there for me personally.
So what if they go out and they get Fuller?
Yeah, they're right there for me.
I'm not as concerned with the second wide receiver as I'm concerned with a team that can punch them in the mouth physically. You know, like last year, you saw them. They won almost every game except for a few games, right? They got punched in the mouth by San Francisco twice. They got punched in the mouth with the Chargers, who played that game significantly more physical than they did. And those are the games where they look terrible. So far this year, they've rolled on everybody except for Tampa, who punched them in the mouth up, you know, in the trenches more than anything. So, I mean, I would love a second wide receiver, don't get me wrong. But I feel like we need more physicality. We can't be outgunned and outpushed and just outmuscled in the trenches and win these games. So that's where I get scared of Green Bay really moving on.
Yeah. It makes sense. As someone who watches them all the time, you would know that and have a better feel for that than I think we would. Just from a talent perspective, I think Green Bay's right there, except for weapons outside of, Jones, and even Williams is really good, and Adams. And it's a shame because Rodgers is so good.
Well, Lazard's starting to practice again, and he's another guy. I mean, trust me, I would love another weapon. I don't think that's a bad point at all. And if we can get Gallup or Cooper or Will Fuller or even a guy like Golden Tate where we don't have to overpay for him, I think it's a great idea.
And he's better than Valdez-Scantling, honestly.
Yeah, he's not very good. Trust me, I am not a Valdez-Scantling fan in the slightest. He can get you an occasional deep shot, but he's pretty much useless outside of that. I just don't know if he's as necessary as a little more swagger of physicality so that we could deal with a team like Tampa, who, like you saw in that game, like once Aaron threw that pick six, and he looked like a deer in headlights for a few minutes, we just got punched in the mouth. They were winning every battle in the trenches. So that's what really, really concerns me. So I'm going to go with Tampa, and I'm extremely torn on the Chiefs and the Steelers. So I'm right in the middle on the two guys that you guys picking. Gun to head, I'm going to ride with the Chiefs who went last year. But, I mean, you've heard me, Matt, in every video we make. I'm a big Pittsburgh fan, and I'm a big believer in them. So I say that with very little conviction.
Yeah, for sure.
So, we all see it eye to eye, which isn't difficult because right now Tampa looks like the best team in the NFC. And right now, Pittsburgh and Kansas City clearly look like the best two teams. So we're not really going out on a limb or anything, but I think, they look like the best teams. Why wouldn't we pick them?
No doubt about
it.
It's not Jets-Cowboys. That I'll say with confidence.
Shit. All right.
Definitely
not. Any dark horses, teams that you think, if you had to bet on a team that wasn't getting any love, this is not a Seattle situation because obviously with Russ and stuff like that, people would bet them. Any deep sleepers you think could maybe rise to the top right here?
Oh, let's see. AFC wise, looking at what's there. I mean, again, deep. Maybe, and again, long shot. Maybe the Chargers. I don't love it, obviously, but if they get hot, if Herbert starts playing he's been playing and he just keeps going, maybe. NFC wise, let's see. Who do I want out of the NFC? It's a great question. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
If you don't have one, you don't have one.
No, I mean, if you gunned ahead,
this guy's talking to himself over here, complimenting himself.
I got myself. Yeah, I'm they're gonna hold me to this. Oh my god, no, I'm just kidding. NFC wise, I think the Cardinals are a long shot.
Okay. I respect that. I'm gonna change my tune completely. I don't think this is gonna happen. Obviously, it's a long shot, but man, I'm gonna say the Browns. I think they're better than the Chargers. After you get past the Chiefs, Ravens, and Steelers, I think the Browns are the most talented team there, and they've got a pretty easy schedule. They're going to be in the playoffs. I'm not a huge Baker Mayfield fan, but I don't think it's impossible to win with him if all the other areas of your team steps up. So that's where I'm going to go in the AFC. And the NFC, this isn't too much of a sleeper, but give me the Saints.
Okay. In the AFC, we can argue whether or not you think they're a sleeper, but I'm going to talk about the Tennessee Titans. And for the big reason that Derrick Henry gets stronger as the season goes along, and they have a formula where they can beat a team better than them. I think the Chiefs are better than. Okay, and that's fair to say that because they're 5-1. I don't think anybody is picking.
You're right. They're okay. So after they're definitely not in the group with the Chiefs, Steelers, and Ravens, but they made the AFC title game last year, and they're 5-1 now. A long shot. You mean all the other teams besides the top three and the Titans. That's how I personally think.
Okay. Well, then I think you are stuck with just the Browns then. Because
what about the Bills?
No.
It's kind of fallen off.
Yeah, I don't see the Bills. Josh Allen, just too many turnovers.
Okay, well, here's a question for you guys then, based on just that right there. Who do you think is better right now, the Browns or the Bills?
The Browns.
Interesting. Ryan?
And that's yeah.
With a healthy Nick Chubb, the Browns.
Interesting, because I know that you especially were pretty high on Buffalo. Not like crazy high, but they haven't played well recently. Like, they're one of those teams with a negative point differential, I was saying.
They are. They lost to the Chiefs, which there's no shame in that. There's no shame in losing to the Titans, even though they did get rolled on. The only good team they've beaten all year is the Rams. And that game they almost gave away as well. So really, they've been outplayed for that second half of that game. They squeaked one out against a Raiders team that's very Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, got rolled by the Titans. You know, that was a tough game against the Chiefs with the weather, but they lost. Right. And then they barely squeaked out against the Jets. I'm just not impressed right now. So my NFC team is going to be the Rams.
Yeah.
As far as like a dark horse.
The Rams and Saints are the teams I was thinking of, too. I like what the Rams are made of. I mean, they've got a great D-line. I think they've got good coaching.
Highest rated quarterback in the fourth quarter this year is Jared Goff. And while we don't think of him as like a difference maker, he's playing well late in games. They have the ability to run the ball a little bit with that stable of running backs. They got some decent skill position players. But most importantly, they have enough guys on defense that if they play well, like there's a formula where you're going to struggle to score on them. They have, potentially two of the best 5 defensive players in the league.
Yeah, they are very good defense. Obviously they're a long shot for a reason. I don't think they have the fighter power to beat the better teams, but that's why they're a long shot. They're definitely a playoff team, and they're solid.
And that's one of the things I like about the Titans. Like you said, they were there last year, so they have a little bit of experience. But they have a formula where they can beat a better team. I think we would still all agree, right? The Chiefs are a better football team. But I think like if Derrick Henry can run the ball effectively, keep the ball out of your opponent's hand, there's a way that you can see them beat better teams.
Agreed, and that's kind of why I picked the Browns. The Browns are in that exact same, with Chubb and Hunt. So yeah, I'm with it. I hope the Browns make it out.
Overall, the Browns defense isn't very good, but you're right. I agree with you. They have the ability, if they can score points early, get up on somebody, run the clock out with 2 very good running backs. Plus, once a team gets behind against Cleveland, you have one of the better defensive players in the league in Myles Garrett. That, sometimes you just need that guy to make a play in a big situation. Reggie White used to be that guy for the Green Bay Packers. Yeah. They would get up in games, teams would try to come back, and then when it mattered the most, Reggie would fly out of nowhere and get a sack. Myles Garrett can be that dude.
It's funny. I was watching a video last week about just a clip of Myles Garrett and him contorting his body in a way that is basically physically impossible for anyone to even imagine. And I can't remember who was doing the video. One of these former players on Twitter. They said the only player he can remember, looking like that and making moves like that is Reggie White.
Reggie White was a beast. He was a pleasure to watch, play the game of football growing up. The Packers were playing the Bears, and this has got to be, 30 years ago or whatever it might have been. And the Bears are starting to make a comeback. I was at the game in Lambeau, and then I just remember Reggie, just 2 straight plays, just taking the tackle and just throwing him out of the way and just making big sacks to close out a game like that. And in a situation where Cleveland could get up, Myles Garrett can be that dude and make those big plays.
He is. Right now, he's the defensive player, MVP, just one player of the month. He's made a ton of big plays. He's got a strip sack in every single game. I'm not going to say he's the best defensive player out there because, you just mentioned, Aaron Donald. He's one of them, though, for sure. Right
Aaron
now,
Donald's probably the best defensive player.
Myles Garrett, the best edge rusher right now.
Yeah, Myles Garrett's an absolute stud. You got like that coming off the edge. It's difficult when you're in a situation where you're dropping back to pass to try to catch up, man. When you got that guy coming at you, it's not easy.
Yeah, there aren't many guys that can really handle him one-on-one. So he makes our all-around defense better. And I'm hoping that, our defense in the next coming years, we continue to add there.
All right, guys, we have meandered through this thing long enough. Appreciate everybody watching this. If you can, click the thumbs up button. We always sincerely appreciate that. The link to the 5-pack website is below. We got the NFL package for sale at $69 to cover you for the rest of the season. Follow our boy right here, DFS Patriot, on Twitter at DFS Patriot. You can tell by the hat in the background and the accent. He lives and breathes Patriots football over there.
Come on,
guys.
See you later, guys.
Later.